Yo, what's the deal? It's your boy Willie B. You already know what it is. And once again, I appreciate you for clicking on this video. I appreciate those who liked my videos or are going to like this video. I appreciate all my subscribers. Now, you see the topic, very controversial, what I'm saying right now. Hopefully, you're an objective person and will be able to disseminate the information that I'm about to give you. Black History Month is bullshit. It's completely another bullshit. Why? Why is Black History Month bullshit? Black History Month is bullshit because you are, and when I say you, I'm talking to the melanated people, the black people. You are the creator of civilization, right? You created everything. Everything. Agriculture, farming, everything. You created. Architecture, you created, right? But then somehow we're duped into thinking we didn't do anything. And it's just so sad to see when I scroll down my timeline, which oftentimes I really don't, but sometimes I decide to take a scroll and I see so much nonsense about all these civil rights, and it's like, that's Black history to y'all? That's Black history? Never once did I see anybody mention the Bible. That's Black history, right? Never once. Never once did I hear about, do I hear people talk about the Moors or Mansa Musa or, I can't think of his first name, last name, Toussaint, the Haitian that led the revolt. We don't hear about these people. Why is that? Who do we hear about when we're talking about Black History Month? But what era is most often brought up? It's always civil rights. It's always civil rights era. Mainly people talking about Martin Luther King and his movement. I'm be honest with you, I'm not a Martin Luther King fan. I can't see how anybody personally could be a Martin Luther King fan. Let me tell you why black people love Martin Luther King. Black people hang Martin Luther King's picture in their homes. We see him at schools. He's a hero. He's a nationwide hero. Let me tell you why he's a nationwide hero. Nationwide hero. Because white people accepted him. White people wanted to push the narrative of a peaceful protest. They funded him. Lyndon B. Johnson, famous for saying, I will have niggers voting Democrats for 200 years. This was Martin Luther King's, I don't know if you want to call him friend, I call him co-conspirator, working hand in hand to what? To quell the black community. See, I find it very funny how we praise Martin Luther King. Oh, we praise Martin Luther King. We love some Martin Luther King. He did so much for us. Martin Luther King didn't do shit. You only praise Martin Luther King because white people said to praise him. You understand what I'm saying? Think about this. Martin Luther King purposely put his people into harm's way. But we praise that. Martin Luther King wanted people like me to sit at lunch counters where people did not want them to sit. Now it's 2020. Why would I go anywhere where I'm not wanted? And it's crazy to think, right? After the Civil Rights Act and desegregation by Lyndon B. Johnson, Democrat, after desegregation, what happened to those black businesses? What happened to the black doctors, the black bakery, the iron? What happened to them? They got shut down because black people were like, oh yes, we finally get to shop where they never wanted us to shop. But we praise that. We praise the fact that Martin Luther King basically is the face of shutting down black enterprise across the country. You go show me where a black bakery is now. Show me where only thing black owned businesses that you will see are barbershops That's it. And that's only because everybody can't cut our hair. That's like the only untouched thing within, say, like a black community that has not been integrated, because we know how to cut our hair, right? Every other business went under because of integration. Now it's crazy. We put civil rights on such a pedestal. Oh, you guys are so brave for getting bit by those dogs. You guys are so brave for getting smacked by those water hoses. But it's funny. During the same time, there was another movement around the same, in the 50s and the 60s. There was another black movement, right? The Nation of Islam. Why none of black people that I've ever see, unless they're Muslim themselves, will ever mention Elijah Muhammad? They will never mention Malcolm X. Maybe, but the only reason they even mention Malcolm X is because he supposedly turned his back on Elijah Muhammad and that whole thing, but hardly mention Malcolm X. Why don't they mention these people? Why do we never hear like about Elijah Muhammad? Let me tell you why. Because white people didn't like Elijah Muhammad. White people didn't like Malcolm X at first. They didn't like Malcolm X until he came back from Mecca and said, Muslims are of all colors, and I pray with these people. Which is, I'm not saying that's wrong, right? But that's his get down, right? But before then, white people didn't like Elijah Muhammad. Do you know why they didn't like him? Because he practiced self-sufficiency, right? They had their own economy, right? They have their own bakers. They have their own clothes makers. They have their own farms. They pushed self-sufficiency, right? White people didn't like that because they want you, especially Democrats, want you dependent on them. Where do you think the welfare system came from? They want you to be able to depend on them for every single thing, and don't depend on the man. Don't depend on the man. Matter of fact, get him completely out of the house. After slavery, single black households, single parent households, right, where normally kids are raised by their mother, was about 27%, I think. Somebody Google me, correct me if I'm wrong. That was after slavery. People were still getting married. Their fathers were still there. People like to claim that, because of slavery, they took the father out of the home. He was sold. They separated families. Okay, I'm with you. And I'm not saying that didn't happen. But that was during slavery. Right? So after slavery, single parent households were 27%. And maybe you could blame it on slavery. Right? What about today? We're not slaves. We're free people. What is the single parent rate for today's African American? Anybody? 75%. 75% of black kids will grow up without a father in a home. We're not in slavery. Can somebody tell me how we got to this point when during slavery, black people were still getting married, the father was still there. After slavery, they were still there. What happened? Welfare happened. Democrats happened. Somehow they tricked you into believing that Republicans are racist, and black people were triggered by this word racism. We're triggered. Oh my God, they're racist. Oh my God, I can't vote for them. But yeah, Democrats started the KKK. Lyndon B. Johnson, like I said earlier, he's the one who said, I will have niggers voting Democrat for 200 years. He said that. Same person that was all cozy with Martin Luther King. Same Lyndon B. Johnson. The welfare system ruined black America. Integration ruined black America. And I don't say this because I don't want to disrespect nobody. But I don't look to the civil rights movement as inspiration at all. I look at it as, if we ever got into a tough spot, this is exactly how I'm not going to do. I'm more of a fan of a Black Panther, Huey P. Newton. I'm more of a Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad fan. Even though we may disagree on certain ideological things, right? when it comes down to it, like self-sufficiency, not needing the government, not having the government, I'm all for that. Those are Republican values, straight up. And I'm be honest with you, you may not like what I'm saying to you, but look it up. I'm not lying to you. I grew up in a single home myself. I know a lot of black dudes who did grow up in a single home. And to tell me, right, that before slavery, there was after slavery, there was 27% of households that were single parent households being raised by women. And to nowadays where we're supposed to be free, this is after the civil rights, right? Do you realize there's more black people in prison today than ever was in slavery? But we're supposed to be free. Why is there so many black people? Ever heard of the 3 Strikes Law? Bill Clinton, Democrat, right? They're not doing you no favors. And they're not doing you no favors by pushing this ideology that peaceful, here, you can spit at me and I'm not going to turn the other cheek. Listen, that Christianity way of thinking is the reason why we're in the position that we're in today, because we're all forgiving. We forgive and we forget. Just like we forgot Democrats started the KKK. We forgot that. But then we start vote Democrat 90%. That's crazy to me. I'm here to wake you up. I'm here so you remember. I'm going to say it every time. The Democrats are not your friend. They give you free stuff. Listen, read a book. Because these college people, you know, I've had little discourses with people I know. They try to tell me, oh, you didn't go to college. You didn't do this. Listen, you read a book. Go read a book called 48 Laws of Power. One of the first few laws in that book is despise the free handout. You don't get nothing from free anything. You don't get nothing from it. That's why I always say, even when you want some information, do not always ask someone for the information. Go seek the information yourself, because it will retain longer when you seek the information out for yourself as opposed to somebody just giving it to you. Same thing with, say, welfare. You work harder. You appreciate things more when they're not just handed to you. I don't want nothing easy. That's cool. If you want easy, right, that's cool. You can have easy. I don't learn nothing from easy. I don't gain nothing from easy. When you in the weight room, is it easy? For those who work out, is it easy? Is it easy? If it's easy, you're supposed to step it up. You never want nothing easy, because when you're easy, right, you're when it's easy, you're complacent. I was on food stamps before, a long time ago, probably not even a year. I went to these classes and they used to tell us there's 3 generations of people on welfare. How do you have 3 generations of people on welfare? That's crazy. That's crazy to me. At the time, I actually really need it. And no, I'm not one of those. I never sold my food stamps. I used every dollar. Every single dollar. But listen, I hope you are triggered by this video, because I hope it triggers you to actually do some research. Do some research into your so-called heroes. See who was funding Martin Luther King. Right? Ask yourself, why do they only show you the good pictures of Martin Luther King? Right? Why do they never show you pictures of him playing pool at the pool hall, drinking, or smoking cigarettes? Right? Because he did these things. But they wanted him to have a certain image, right? To be easily pushed to the masses. Right? But then at the same time, they try to make Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X look like evil demons. Right? Especially even Malcolm X. You look at the FBI reports. Malcolm X was a saint. He didn't cheat on his wife. Martin Luther King did. He didn't smoke. He didn't drink. He fasted every day. This guy was a quote-unquote saint. Right? So watch that. Go research everything up. Go research the numbers. Go research before and after slavery and how successful black people were. That's what they mean when they say make America great. Right? Because, like I said, it's more black people enslaved right now than it was when we was in slavery. So, yeah, I would rather go back to that time, right? Because more black people own land, right? More black-owned businesses, right? Y'all swear, could y'all take the Make America Great out of context because you don't think logically, you think emotionally. Think logically for a second. I don't get emotional. So it's easy for me to receive information, right? And discern whether or not I agree with it or not. But it's not for everybody. Some people hear racism, black people, Black Lives Matter. Listen, if Black Lives Matter so much, y'all would stop Democrats from funding Planned Parenthood, would kill probably 18 million unborn children. But Black Lives Matter, though.